embarrassing everybody at major events such as this. And
why should this be an exception?
No, absolutely not. We've our tradition is to highlight events like this with a series of speeches, many of which are personal, some are embarrassing, recollections that nobody wants to recall. But these are important events and they should be recorded. Some of these have caused police breakups. Bruce and Maria almost caused the Indians to revolt. On the other hand, some have been very successful. There's no interference whatsoever. And on this particular occasion, we take the opportunity to salute my brother Howard and Margie on the occasion of their nuptials tomorrow.
Are they here?
They're hiding in the corner.
They were smart, they left.
You don't know what's going to happen. They're scared. I don't blame them.
Joining the Zion family is both the privilege and the responsibilities. Margie soon to find out. One of the responsibilities is that at some point in the future, not today, but at some point in the future, you have to prepare for these with research. Some people have written grant requests to do the appropriate field work in order to make the comments that are at these events. But tonight you're off the hook, and maybe some of your misfortunate relatives. But I would like to salute both you and Howard, because this is truly an important event. You've got hundreds of people from all over the country, gladly, and the weather's cooperating, which is great. It could have snowed on us, and we're just delighted to be here.
Here, here.
It's interesting that in the era of computers, something as elemental as 1 + 1 = 2 come out of your joint careers. Howard's been involved in computer technology for many years. Margie is involved in the same. And through the magic of modern science, they came together on a very elemental level. And as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Because what's happened is through their paths, which came together over a punch card, they joined hands, had a cup of coffee, one thing led to another, and now they're soon to be married. So one more. There are many important people here who have significant things to say about my brother and his career and what he's about to do. And I'm trying to think, who should I pick on first? This is a major, and I think I'll ask my dad to say remarks.
I think what to say about this nuptial for the last, 39 years? 38 years? And really nothing has come to my mind other than the fact that, number one, the blood chemistry is good. The chemistry is good, forgetting about the blood. The computer minds are working in harmony. And Howard's got a hell of a nice big apartment that's going to be redone.
Yeah, Marge.
And they do throw nice parties without the guidance of his mother. Her mother tries to kind of steer. She's like on the steering committee, but sometimes it doesn't steer too well. But anyway, what I'm trying to put together here is that I was very fortunate to have a Fortunato. Fortunato won't be a Fortunato after tomorrow because all the Fortunatos will be Zionists.
No, wait, excuse me. Zion Fortune. Excuse me, there will be one Fortunato left.
No Fortunato, your name will be Zion, but you'll have to, and legally, you'll be Fortunato.
We're going to adapt it.
That particular family becomes a Zion. The whole family becomes a Zion. beautiful turnout, and everybody wants to see this thing set off successfully. We had the meeting, and the board has met and said that as far as Marge is concerned, she will become assigned tomorrow.
It was a
So-
close vote. It was a close vote, 49 to 51.
So,
There was no contest. Many of you may not know this, but Howard and I are 1 year apart. We're two grades different, 14 months apart. And we shared a bedroom until I left college. Or until Franny left. Then, no, I stayed. This often led to interesting experiences. And I remember that one of the issues had to do with when we shared a bedroom, listening to music at night, because I don't like music. Howard used to like to listen to music. This was always a major part of our day, was to figure out how we were going to end the evening. You don't even remember, but I remember. Another part of our evening became, we used to have an old TV set, which was vintage 1955.
So was Heavy Duty.
And I remember we used to sneak out and we used to watch Sea Hunt. And nobody thought we were supposed to be up. This is the way we came there so night. So there were lots of, see, you didn't know. So there were lots of major things that went on. But I'm not sure that that kind of relationship can lead to the kind of relationship that some brothers have who see each other every day but don't have to live together at that intense level. Howard then went on to become the state's champion. Basketball, football, soccer, hockey,
Track.
What other sports are there? Basketball,
General ultimate athlete.
driving, whatever there was, jogging, swimming.
Cribbage.
No, swimming.
And went on to Princeton University. So I think that actually, it was probably around the time that I left for school, and then subsequently about 2 years later, he went to school, that our lives really parted and we saw each other less frequently. But I think that in the last few years, we've become somewhat closer. And I'm glad to see that that's happened, because it really is important to me to know that my brother's living in New York, doing as well as he is, and having as successful a time, and found a wonderful wife, Margie. And so I would like to personally thank Howard.
Here, here.
I'd like to call on my brother Don to say a few things. He's been working on this since at least
The last 15 minutes. You can do it from up there, Don.
I'm going to stay right here. It's impossible to forget the kind of remarks that Howard made the night before our wedding. Just the whole emotional response to the thing. I can't remember what he said. I don't know if we have it in writing or not. We don't have it on tape. But it was unbelievable. I don't know how I could ever match or top that.
Be careful, you have it on video.
I can't tell you how excited I was in anticipation of coming out here and coming to the wedding and seeing the play, which I didn't see. But Howard and Marge I think this is a very positive step, because a lot of positive things happen after you take a step like that. Yeah, but it's really, it's amazing how things, how you collaborate and how many really positive things there are. Even though you hear a lot of negative, bad rap type things about marriage, and I never dreamed that I have somebody running around, part of our household, that you're always learning and understanding, and kind of in awe about the thing. I guess my hope is that they have as much growth and happiness as we have had, and I hope that for myself, I hope I get to know them better. Unbelievable as it may seem, Howard and I got close in 1966. Before then, we weren't close at all. That year, somehow something happened. I don't know what. We stayed close even though he basically was gone when we went to college. I guess my hope is that I get to know them better as a couple, and also I hope I get to learn what he does for a living. So best of luck to you both. We love Julie and I love you tremendously. It's just so exciting.
Here, here.
Another important member of our family is my sister Fran. She's the oldest of our family. But I'm only 33 and a half according to the newspaper. I'm 6 months younger than Chip.
Chip is 34. And Franny's only 9 months older than you are.
6 years older than I am.
Well, no, I'm still 29.
Howard and I are particularly indebted to Franny. When she left, we each got our own bedroom. That was a major, important part of our.
Well, got me on I'm really excited for Howard and Margie, and I'm so happy that my brother is so happy. They have found such a lovely gal to marry. And once a year, in the last few years, we've come out to New York to see Howard and to see our son Michael, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening. But it's always been such, I look forward to coming out to New York to visit Howard, and we've come to know each other a little better since we've been able to get together at least once a year in the last few years. And since I'm the eldest, all those years of growing up were quite an experience with my 3 brothers and myself, helping raise them, helping care for them, helping babysit for them. But Howard has always been the person who has been really thoughtful and always remembered my birthday and always cared. And I really always appreciated that. And I'm just extremely excited about this. Seeing him smiling, radiant and happy is wonderful. And I give a toast to you, Howard, for a wonderful life.
I think the key member of our family, my mother, should say a few words because she was responsible for this part of it.
Howard in general.
It's not that she has a lot to keep it up, says it loud.
Make right to the flash. Look, make believe you're sitting in the car.
Well, I'm just very pleased and happy for your being engaged.
Sit.
Here we are.
Very pleased and happy.
Because usually we can really kiss it.
And your great pair, and not only that, you do a big thing. You do it beautifully, and I think this is a first where the groom and bride-to-be had a party before the ceremony. It's amazing. Tomorrow's the wedding. That's right. So lots of happiness.
It's a pleasure to have everybody.
Good to get everybody in the mood.
We're in the mood.
I'm going to call on some of Margie's family. Before I do that, to see how it's done, it's important that you listen to the dean.
Done the dean.
We have a specialist in our family who gives these. Usually, he actually manages these whole events. tonight it's really not within his immediate family, so he had to take a side seat. My Uncle Bert will show you how to properly address crowds of this type.
Tell you all about the Pakawi Indian.
This is a paid political announcement. That's exactly a minute and a half.
We get to ask questions after the speech.
It's all right.
This is a tradition that goes back at least 50 years. There's never been a bar mitzvah, a wedding, or a high school graduation,
For bris.
or a bris.
That hurts.
It's not been a part of this celebratory public speaking program. For those of you who are not in the family, it may come as a shock, because you're not accustomed to this kind of argumentative communication. I have been speaking before this group for around 50 years, from time to time. I think
Take
that
a lot longer
probably
than that.
I must warn you that when my nephew Bruce was married here in New York to a New Yorker, we had an event like this, and the wedding was postponed for at least 6 months. Mari had to consult with the family attorney and the family accountant. I had to bring in conciliators to bring this couple together. It all started in a very simple way. Those were the days, as you may remember, when the Algonquin Indians who at that time controlled the majority of the state of New York, were having intertribal warfare with the Apaches of Wisconsin. Bruce represented the Apaches as the tribal chief, and Mario was the female chief of the Algonquin. Well, I brought that subject up for public discussion at an Italian restaurant here in New York. I insulted everyone. My nephews called me a bigot. My son wouldn't talk to me for 6 months because he felt I used the Native American tribal system unfairly. And so it's with great hesitation that I speak to all of you this evening. Fortunately, the Algonquins and the Apaches reconciled. They now have several wonderful children, and there is no longer a battle between the East and the West.
Oh, peace.
I'm going to try to do this in a more literary way with a little more culture than I've done in the past. I remember when Howard was a Princeton scholar. Maybe you don't know that. He was a Princeton scholar. He never had to go to class. He, instead of going down there to Princeton, he came up here to New York and wandered around the streets. And he met a couple of fellows on 42nd and Broadway, and he associated with them from time to time. And having observed their style of their life, he decided to write a book. I don't recall the name of the book, but I do know that when Howard finished the book and he tried to get a publisher to publish it, he had great difficulty. Knowing that I had great relationships with the book publishing industry, he came home one weekend and he says, Uncle Bert, maybe you can get this book published. Well, it so happened that I knew Marjorie Bittler. Marjorie Bittler is a very famous Milwaukee woman who actually was an agent for Reinhardt, a major book publisher. And I talked to Marjorie into reviewing Howard's book. Now the book itself had an esoteric theme, very much like the theme of the show you saw this afternoon. If you saw the show. The theme of Howard's book was a Greek mythological theme. You remember, I think you all know Icarus. Icarus was a son of a Greek god. Icarus was the son who said to his father, the god, I will fly to the sun. I can fly to that sun, that shiny ball up there that heats the world. And his father said to him, Icarus, if you fly to the sun, your wings are made of wax. And the sun will melt the wax, and you will plummet to the earth and die. I happened to think of that tonight. I thought of Howard flying to the sun tomorrow, and I hope his wings are not made of wax, and he falls in dead heat to the surface of the earth. I have a feeling that he's learned something in the last 20 or 30 years which will not cause that disaster. I just want to call that to your attention, Mark. I think you ought to know that. I'm also advised, I spent a good part of the day yesterday. Eddie and I got here on Friday. And I decided to investigate Howard's career. So I called up Mr. Chase at the Chase National Bank. And I spoke to him at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. He was aware of the fact that Howard was getting married to Marjorie. But he raised a question with me. He said, it would seem to me, Bert, that there probably will have to be a double wedding. It's not just Howard and Marjorie. They're both computer programmers that deal with hardware and software. It would seem to me that if Howard and Marjorie get married, you're going to also have to have a second wedding performed by a Hasidic rabbi to marry the two computers that they use. Because their life is going to be bound up with computer programming. So Howard, when I attend your wedding tomorrow, I trust the Hasidic rabbi that Jim has brought down to Brooklyn, would also perform the marriage of your respective computers. On that note of Greek mythology and the second marriage of the computers, I congratulate you and wish you well.
I think we should all be thankful we weren't about to hear the battle between visual equipment and IBM. I think that that's pretty much enough from our side of the family. I'm sure that there's a rebuttal from the other side. And before we get into the direct family members, I know that there are people here who've got a very close relationship with Howard as well. From business and social relationship, and I would like to call Ilya, whom I know, not as well as Howard does, from my days at MIT. I remember his girlfriend. It was very impressive in the library.
Which one? Which one?
But he seemed like a nice guy.
Howard and I met, I think, about 14 years ago. And a very interesting circumstance. I had come to New York to work after 2 years in Massachusetts studying. And I knew nothing about computers, but I'd taken the job of computer manager with a firm. I needed some help. And so it was a very hot July day in New York and in other parts of the world. And Howard was working in computing and was helping our company put a program together and was working with me. We hadn't really become acquainted yet. And somebody came in and made an announcement to me that in another part of the world it was heating up, the war was starting. At the time it was 73 July, and I think reference was being made to the war later known as the Kippur War. And I was looking at the telex and I felt Howard look at it in a certain way. His beams crossed with my beams, and that day we decided we looked at the world similarly. We became friends, and I think you always remember that moment. Howard has taught me many things. I was in New York without any friends, and he became to me a very close friend and I would say almost a family member. First thing he taught me was computers. He was very patient with me, and a few months after he saw how good I was at it, he told me, please get out before you run the company. I advice about 15 years later. I didn't win the company, but I got out of computers. Howard introduced me to a few other things in life which I will always remember him from. One of them was Wall Street. And I don't remember when he told me to get out, but there was some ruin lately. And then he introduced me to most of the things I know about this country, for which I'm very grateful. And I'm very touched and honored today to be able to be with you, even though I'm not direct family. And that was the first thing I wanted to say. Howard and I have shared many moments together. From business we became friends. I think business brought us together, made us friends. The reverse almost happened a few times, but we both decided friendship was more important, so we didn't end up working together. Howard visited me in Europe quite a few times and got to know my family in what was known as the old country.
Call back.
He also accused me very often of talking too long, so that's a pre-arranged phone call to make sure that I think that today I really would like to congratulate both Howard and Margie for their wonderful decision. Thank them for having invited me, and thank all of you for having made me feel part of the family, and wish you all the best for 120 years.
Another close friend of Howard's is his friend Aubrey. And he has agreed with some great enthusiasm to say a few brief words.
Big family. Are you happy? Howard and I also met about 14 years ago. I don't remember the Yom Kippur War.
Was it another war?
We've, as you probably all know, New York's a pretty tough place to live. And Howard and I have spent the last 14 years helping each other. Sometimes I've been his older brother, and sometimes he's been my older brother. There are times when I needed Howard's help, and Howard's definitely somebody you can rely on always. And I very much appreciated that. What's happened is that we really have become like brothers. Our families have got together. And it's very emotional even to see how I get married. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
What do I do? Turn the camera around for myself?
You're fortunate that you're not going to be on
You want me to do that?
Yeah, I think we'll probably, Patrice and I probably take about half and half on this.
You can take Craig in there.
Just show me which button to push.
It's already pushed. Just got to look in and point. Okay. Should we even move on? I've known Howard for about 14 weeks. I think he's a great guy. I'm glad he's going to be my brother-in-law. I've known Margie for 12 years. And not having thought about what I wanted to say, it's difficult for me to just stand up and talk about someone who's been in my family for that long and been like a sister to me. And I think, the family has gone through a lot, and we don't want to talk about all those things, but we do want to say that if it wasn't for the train strike that happened about 6 or 8 months ago, we might not all be here tonight, and I'll leave the details out. But just like the people from Wisconsin know, Patrice and I lived in Chicago for a while. We used to go up to Wisconsin for bratwurst. And to tell you the truth, we didn't know there were any Jews that even lived up in Wisconsin. So I got a phone call from the governor of Wisconsin before he came down here. Wanted all you to go back because there isn't enough for a minion in Wisconsin right now, and all the Jews have to go back. Patrice, you want to say something?
Well, Margie,
You're blushing, Tracy, you're blushing.
we have a law history.
Similar to Herb and Howard, Margie and I share bedrooms, and we're 19 months apart. I can confirm that with my mother. Yes, okay. And contrary to her belief, although I did abuse her as a sister, I pushed her out of bed a few times, just tried to, yes, right. But I'm really, really happy. I guess after all these years, I guess all the rivalries have dissolved. And it's really great to have a sister, and it's also, I'm really happy to have a new brother-in-law. And we're just really thrilled. And I think Greg, my brother, would also like to make a statement.
This is the rebuttal.
This is the rebuttal. Margie's been like a sister to me. Unfortunately, it happens to be from birth. No, I mean, Margie's been close to me, and I've had a lot of rough times in the past few years and things, and the closest person in my family to me has been my sister Margie. And just the relationship between her and I has been stronger in the past few years than it ever has been. And deep in my heart, I believe she deserves the best in the world. And obviously, Roger also does. And they seem to have found two people that both deserve the best. And they found it, and they do very well together. You can't do much better than the best. And they got it. And I'm glad that Howard in the family, and I'm very happy. And I have much more to say. It's a very emotional kind of thing.
I was just, I'd like to call it Margie's mother. You must have known it was coming. Moving in that direction.
I'm very excited by everybody being here, for the local families that are sharing through it. We're very lucky indeed to have met everybody here. And heavens knows I'm lucky to have a nice new son-in-law like Howard. And what Greg said about Margie, she was not only a sister to me, she's kind of a little like a mother to me at times. She was the one who helped me do with schoolwork when I was growing up. She's a good girl. Howard's getting us well fed.
Anybody else who would like to say a few words?
One
Yes,
last
want to
thing.
say more? I don't know. Yeah.
No, one last thing. She can party and she knows how to enjoy it. Damn well, because tomorrow's going to be damn great day. We're going to have a damn good time. This is to everybody. Party.
I'd like to have Kitty say a few words.
You want to say something? No, she doesn't want to say. Anybody else? Well, then I think I'd like to...
I want to add something.
Oh, okay, we've got one last.
I'm not going to stand for this, but I want you to know that I have slept. I want you to know that I have slept in Howard's bed probably more times than anyone else in the room.
He wasn't there. For the speech.
We wasn't in
I was being from out of town when I visited Milwaukee. Howard and Herb's room was the place I got to spend my nights. So it's a great place to sleep. I think I recommend it highly.
Gone now,
And
gone.
I think that we both replaced each other in that situation with, first of all, women with wonderful names, probably the best name that a woman can have.
Fortunato.
And also women who have wonderful heart and will be tremendous members of a family which we all love and hold dear and close. I thought I ought to invoke something from Howard's background in the North Woods. You probably all know Howard as the straight-laced, kind of
Party animal.
party animal, all right. And I wanted to reflect on seeing Howard a few nights way past TAPS at camp with a guy by the name of Snow. And I think that reference has all the, you can put it in all the ramifications that it possibly could have, and it would be perfectly appropriate. Wrapped in a blanket, probably flying faster than he ever flew on any track in the high school. And he set a great example for us as being a star athlete and really knowing how to enjoy his camp experiences. I think, Margie, I've just given you enough information to keep you in conversation with Howard for many nights digging. I wish you great happiness. If you have as much joy and happiness as I have seen our family have, and as it's obvious your mother has had in her lives, if you have half of the measure of that joy, it will be enough to fill your lives for 100 years.
What would an evening be without a word or two from Ed?
Oh, God.
Oh, he did it 3 weeks ago.
Hey, do it again.
Yeah. And normally, at these occasions, we always call upon my Janet, who we tend to touch on the history of the family. But, you know, really, the Fortunatos don't really know the magnitude of this family and the impact that this family has had upon the 17 or 18 grandchildren that have existed. But all of this came, they tell me, out of two people who met many, many years ago. And those two people, of course, brought all of this about. Our immediate family was 4 and 2. I was a baby boy. Janet was the first blessed event that came in the female department. And from all of this, we've spread out, and we're looking forward to some wonderful fun this summer because we're going to have a wonderful wedding in July, and we probably will have a picnic of 100 or 200 little ones and big ones and family, all coming out of these same two people that met many, many, many years ago. And I think it's important to know that this kind of progeny goes on and on and on, and God knows how many of us will be here to view the results of this wonderful relationship that's existing here between Howard and Margie and these young people who have followed our steps. Obviously, they've all gone their individual ways, and it's really been a very wonderful thing to sit back and watch the successes that have developed and have traveled in the various corners of the world to bring about a lifestyle that certainly brings honor and joy and satisfaction to the two people who created this in the very first instance. And so I can only tell you that we look forward to more fun events like this. We look forward to wonderful occasions when we can share all of these things with all of our children. And I can tell you that on July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we're looking forward to another wonderful, happy occasion when Laura takes on a husband who most of us haven't even met yet. I don't know whether he can handle this kind of an ordeal. I think maybe this is the reason he stayed away tonight. I really know that they're up in Connecticut and Laura's singing, and we miss them, and of course they're missing this marvelous group of people that are here sharing this happy occasion. But tomorrow, I'm sure that they will be there. I'm hoping that maybe Chip will break away long enough to share with us this occasion. But needless to say, in addition to this joyous occasion, I don't think that too many things could have given us more pleasure than to see the success that we saw with Chip last night and this afternoon. And I guess these kinds of wonderful things. These kinds of wonderful things really give us great pleasure. And I guess if your kids will share these moments as we share these moments.
Andy
Here's that incredibly frugal couple that we found that started this whole thing.
Needless to say, we wish you well. Howard, you certainly have brought us all together tonight for a wonderful, wonderful, emotional evening. It's just a joy to be with you. But I say,
This is, what is your name? And you guys are going to get married? And the Zions from Milwaukee and Florida wish you so many wonderful things. And we're just delighted that you're going to make this thing.
no, we wish you well. We just want the Fortunatos to realize, and it isn't Fortunato anymore. Is it
Excuse me,
Fortunato?
there's a sad note to all this.
No, tell me this. What is the name? I'm lost.
Well, it's Fortunato there, but I'm mistaken now.
I'm the last one.
Whatever the name is, we want you to know that you got more backing than you could ever bank on, that you could ever count on, and because all of you are joined in with a wonderful, wonderful family situation. I just hope that ain't get the hook. I hope you'll all appreciate what we're trying to do together, because we really are all one. Okay?
Excuse me. One last very important note that these families must understand. After tomorrow, there will be only one more remaining Fortunato. So let's all pray. When I do get married, shall I have a son? God forbid I don't.
Or a daughter who keeps your name.
And there are some,
That was the question.
I have something to say.
yes.
I think we need to bring a woman's perspective.
I think we do.
Hooray!
Women, and most of you don't know me, but Howard and Marge know me. It's very hard for me to keep my mouth shut. So I'm trying to be brief. First of all, I just want to say I agree with what Audrey says. And Howard and Howard and I go back a long time. And this is before I knew Audrey. He's married to Audrey. And I love him dearly. He's really like a brother to us. On the senior side of Howard, since he spent summer after summer with us at the beach, and in the early days I was sort of one of the boys. All I can say is we are so relieved and happy and delighted that he's marrying such an intelligent, sweet, and adorable person as Marge. Number one. And number two, Aubrey and I are both not New Yorkers, and we feel that we need more family here. And we have a 17-month-old son, soon to be 18 months old. So you guys, good luck and we love you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Still waiting for the senior side.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Well, I would like to call on Howard to say a few words. It's unusual in this tradition. Usually the honoree heads to the hills.
So I figure if I have her up here standing next to me, propping me up.
So I'm getting to, but tomorrow you'll get to know the Fortunato clan. They are out there. They're kind of hidden away, but you'll see them in large numbers tomorrow, and they'll make their presence known because they're a lively crowd of people. And I just thank everybody. Everybody's such a nice thing. Nathan, I'm an emotional person. For those who don't already know, I get that way. But it's really been great, and I'm sure we're going to get better and better. And I'm looking forward to the future and tomorrow and everything else.
As I already said this evening to somebody, and I'll say it again because it applies to everybody here, Marge and I decided to do this thing. And really it takes two of us to do it. And it's something we want to do. So we intended to be here tomorrow and get married. Everybody who else is here because they want to be. And it took considerable effort and expense for you to get here. And I definitely appreciate that. I had a very funny and instructive experience the other day. We went to see Chip Show, and as I think everybody here knows, Chip is a star, Broadway, husband, and Hal's son. And as we're walking down the street, I run into one of my uncles and one of my aunts. And I walk a little further, and I see another uncle, another aunt, and another one. And I look in a coffee shop, and there's another pair. Everywhere I look. And my first reaction to this was, that's really unusual to see all my uncles and aunts in every street corner. But on reflection, I say to myself, that's not really unusual at all, because I've been here for 18 years, and it's a tough city, it's a cold city, but Never laugh before the punchline. It's tough if you have to do it alone. But you people are really with me and then with us all the time.
Now we can have coffee.
Have coffee and dessert.
I think that I'm glad all of you were able to sit through this. This is not an easy thing, and Katie in particular. Should have been a
Katie and I were having a ball.
2 hours ago. She's been.
Yes.
This is a very important event. I think that what you said is absolutely right. The family is behind you. We always have been, and we're behind Chip. He's in Broadway or wherever, Lehigh, and we go in flocks. We're all going to be there on July 4th for our family reunion, the first annual family reunion next year. It won't be annual. We can do that every year. But it is a big family, but it's a group of people who really are concerned and interested in what every individual member of it is doing. And that's why it's so great to be part of it. And I can say that having been born into it. And also the people that have been brought in kicking and screaming. Eventually learn that it's a good place to be. So, I'd like to thank all of you for listening to this, and it's been a very important event for me. Thank you very much. Thanks.